The color of grief is not black. It is gray. It is the color of the sky over Seattle on a Tuesday morning in November. It is the color of the stale coffee in the church basement. It is the color of my son's eyes as he looks at me not with love, but with calculation. My name is Lena Odom. I am 68 years old, and 3 days ago my husband of 45 years, Elijah, died of a massive heart attack in our garage, or so I was told. I sat in the front pew of the St. Mary's Community Church. My hands were folded in my lap, clutching a lace handkerchief that Elijah had given me for our 30th anniversary. It was dry. I had no tears left. I felt hollowed out like a pumpkin left on the porch too long after Halloween. Beside me sat my son Marcus and his wife Kira. They were holding hands. They were dabbing their eyes. They were performing. "Mama," Marcus whispered, leaning close. He smelled of expensive cologne and peppermint. "Are you okay? Do you need water? Or maybe your pills?" "I don't need pills, Marcus," I said, my voice rasping. "I need my husband." "Shh," Kira soothed, patting my arm with a manicured hand. "Don't get agitated, Lena. Remember what the doctor said. Your blood pressure." The doctor. Their doctor. A man I had never met until the day Elijah died, who suddenly appeared to prescribe me sedatives I didn't want. I looked at the coffin. It was closed. Closed casket. "Too much trauma," Marcus had said. "You don't want to remember him like that, Mama. Remember him as he was." So I was staring at mahogany wood and brass handles, trying to conjure the face of the man who had made me coffee every morning for 4 decades. The service was a blur. People spoke. Elijah's colleagues from Sterling and Grant Financial, neighbors, the pastor. They talked about Elijah's kindness, his integrity, his garden. Marcus went up to the podium. He walked with a heavy, sorrowful gait. "My father," he began, his voice trembling perfectly on cue, "was the rock of our family. He took care of everything, especially my mother." He looked at me. The congregation looked at me. I felt 100 pairs of eyes weighing my fragility. "Now that he is gone," Marcus continued, "it is my duty, our duty, to take up that mantle, to protect what he built, and to protect the one he loved most." It sounded like a vow. To me, it sounded like a threat. Protect. That was their favorite word lately. "We need to protect your assets, Mama. We need to protect your health, Lena. We need to protect you from yourself." After the service, we stood in the receiving line. "I'm so sorry for your loss, Lena," Mrs. Gable from down the street said. "If you need anything." "She's fine," Kira interrupted, stepping in front of me like a human shield. "We're taking her home. She needs rest. She's very confused today." "Confused?" Mrs. Gable looked at me with pity. "I'm not confused," I said, trying to step around Kira. "I'm just grieving." "See?" Kira whispered to Mrs. Gable, tapping her temple. "Denial. It's the first stage. But with her condition—" She let the sentence trail off. Mrs. Gable nodded sympathetically and squeezed my hand. "Take care of her, Kira. She's lucky to have you." Lucky. I watched them. Marcus and Kira. They were accepting condolences like they were accepting awards. They were managing the funeral like a corporate event, and I was just a prop. The widow, essential for the scene but silent. The wake was held at our house, the house Elijah and I bought 30 years ago, the house we paid off, the house where we raised Marcus. It was crowded, people eating ham sandwiches and drinking iced tea in my living room. I sat in Elijah's favorite armchair by the window. I didn't want to talk. I wanted them to leave. I wanted to smell Elijah's old pipe tobacco in the curtains before the scent faded forever. Marcus came over. He crouched beside my chair. "Mama," he said, "Kira and I were talking." "Not now, Marcus. We have to talk about it sometime, Mama. The house." "What about the house?" "It's too big for you," he said. "The stairs, the garden. It's too much work. And with Dad gone, the upkeep." "I can manage," I said. "I've managed for years while your father was at work." "But you're not getting any younger," Kira chimed in, appearing at his shoulder. "And with your episodes." "Episodes," I snapped. "What episodes?" Last week, Kira said smoothly. You lost your car keys. You accused the maid of stealing them. We found them in the fridge, Lena. I did not put them in the fridge. And the stove, Marcus added. You left the gas on. Dad told me. He was worried, Mama. He was terrified you'd burn the house down. Elijah never said that. He didn't want to upset you. Marcus sighed. He protected you. But he's gone now. We have to make the hard decisions. They exchanged a look I had seen a dozen times in the last month, a look of shared conspiracy. We found a place, Marcus said. Magnolia Gardens. It's beautiful, Mama. Assisted living. They have nurses 24/7, activities. You'd be safe there. I am not going to a nursing home, I said, my voice shaking with rage. This is my home. It's for your own good, Kira said, reaching for my hand. I pulled it away. We can't watch you 24/7, Lena. We have jobs, we have lives. If you stay here alone, something bad will happen, and we can't live with that. Excuse me. A voice interrupted us. We looked up. Standing there was a man I didn't recognize at first. He was tall, wearing a black suit that looked more expensive than Marcus's car. He had silver hair and eyes that were sharp as flint. Mr. Vance. Marcus stood up surprised. I didn't expect you to come. It was Theodore Vance, the CEO of Sterling and Grant, Elijah's boss. Elijah was an auditor, a middle manager. He had worked there for 30 years, but I didn't think the CEO even knew his name. Elijah was a good man, Mr. Vance said. His voice was deep gravelly. A loyal employee. He looked at me. Mrs. Odom, my deepest condolences. Thank you, I whispered. I need to speak with you, Vance said, about Elijah's pension and his active files. I can handle that. Marcus stepped forward, his chest puffing out. I'm the executor. Well, I will be, once the paperwork is filed. Vance looked at Marcus. It was a look of cold assessment. Company policy, Vance said. Spousal benefits must be discussed with the spouse, directly. He handed me a card. Mrs. Odom, please come to my office tomorrow, 10:00 a.m. It is urgent. I'll drive her, Kira said quickly. Vance turned his gaze to Kira. That won't be necessary. I'll send a car. He looked back at me. His eyes held a message. Urgent. Private. 10:00 a.m., he repeated. Alone. Then he turned and walked out of the house, cutting through the crowd like a shark through a school of fish. Marcus stared after him. He looked nervous. What was that about? He muttered. Active files, Dad was retired. He was consulting. I said, remembering Elijah mentioning some late-night work. Well, Kira said, her eyes narrowing. We better go with her. You never know with these corporate types. They might try to cheat her out of the pension. No, I said. He said alone. You can't go alone, Mama, Marcus said. You'll get confused. You'll sign something you don't understand. I can read Marcus, I said, and I am going. That night, the house was finally empty. Marcus and Kira had tried to stay. We should sleep here tonight, Mama. You shouldn't be alone. I had practically pushed them out the door. I need to be with my husband, I had said, with his memory. They left, but not before Marcus checked the lock on Elijah's home office door. He tried the handle. It was locked. Where's the key, Mama? I don't know, I lied. It was in my pocket. We need to look for the will, he said, and the insurance policies. Tomorrow, I said. Go home. When they were gone, I locked the front door. I deadbolted it. I walked into the quiet kitchen. I made a cup of tea. I sat at the table where Elijah and I had eaten breakfast for 45 years. I looked at the empty chair. What is happening, Eli? I whispered. Why does Marcus want to put me away? Why did your boss look at me like that? My phone rang. I jumped. It was 9:30 p.m. I looked at the caller ID. Unknown number. I hesitated. Then I answered. Hello. Mrs. Odom. It was Vance. Mr. Vance, it's late. I know, I apologize, but I couldn't risk calling earlier when they were there. My hand tightened on the phone. Who? Your son. And his wife. Why?
Mrs. Odom listened to me carefully. Tomorrow morning when the car comes, do not tell them. Do not let them know you are leaving.
If they ask, say you are going to the grocery store, say you are going to the park, anything. Mr. Vance, you're scaring me. You should be scared, Lena, he said, using my first name. Elijah came to me a week ago. He was terrified, not for himself, for you. For me. He found something, in your son's finances, and in his own medical records. Medical records. Just come tomorrow, 10:00 a.m., and bring the key. What key? The key to his home office. He told me you keep it in your pocket. The line went dead. I sat there, the silence pressing in on me. Elijah knew. He knew something was wrong, and he had gone to his boss, not the police. Why I touched the key in my pocket. The metal was cold. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the chair by the window watching the street, waiting for the sun to rise or for the monsters to come back. The car arrived at 9:30 a.m., a black Lincoln Town Car. I told Marcus I was sleeping in. I texted him, not feeling well, taking a nap. Don't come over until noon. I slipped out the back door. The driver didn't speak. He drove me downtown into the glass canyon of the financial district. We went up to the 40th floor. The offices of Sterling and Grant were intimidating. Marble floors, modern art, silence. Vance's secretary led me into his office. It was huge. Corner office, view of the bay. Vance was standing by the window. He turned when I entered. "Thank you for coming," he said. "Did anyone see you?" "No." "Good." He walked to his desk. He pressed a button on his intercom. "Send him in." A side door opened. I expected a lawyer or a detective. Instead, a man in a white coat walked in. He looked nervous. "This is Dr. Aris," Vance said. "He is a private toxicologist." "Toxicologist?" I asked. "Mrs. Odom," Dr. Aris said, opening a file. "Mr. Vance hired me last week, at your husband's request. Elijah asked for a toxicologist. He suspected, Vance said, that he was being poisoned." I grabbed the edge of the desk.
The room spun. Poisoned. He had a heart attack. He had high blood pressure. He had high blood pressure, Dr. Aris said, because he was being dosed with ephedrine and digitalis, in small amounts, over months, mimicking heart disease, creating symptoms of anxiety confusion, and eventually cardiac arrest. "Who?" I whispered. "Who would do that?" Vance slid a folder across the desk. "We have security footage," he said, "from your house." "My house doesn't have cameras." "Elijah installed them," Vance said. 2 months ago, hidden cameras, in the kitchen, in the living room. He opened his laptop. He clicked a file. I watched the screen. It was my kitchen. I saw myself making tea. I saw myself leave the room. Then I saw Kira. She walked to the counter. She looked around. She took a small vial from her purse. She poured 3 drops into Elijah's coffee mug, the one that said, "World's Best Dad." She stirred it. She smiled. I put my hand over my mouth. I felt sick, physically violently sick. "She killed him," I choked out. "She murdered him." "She tried," Vance said. I looked up. "Tried? He's dead. I buried him yesterday." Vance looked at me. His face was unreadable. "Did you see the body, Lena?" "The casket was closed. Marcus said it was too traumatic," Vance finished. "Marcus identified the body at the morgue. Marcus signed the cremation order for later this week." "Yes." "And the doctor who signed the death certificate?" Vance asked. "Dr. Thorne." "Yes, their doctor." "Dr. Thorne is a gambler," Vance said. "He owes Marcus $50,000. We checked the books." I stood up. "What are you saying?" Vance stood up too. He walked to the bookshelf. He pulled a book. The bookshelf swung open. A hidden room. "You need to see this," Vance said. I walked to the door. My legs felt like lead. Inside there was a small room, a bed, a monitor, and a man sitting in a chair. He was pale. He was hooked up to an IV, but he was alive. "Elijah." He looked up. He saw me. "Lena," he rasped. I screamed. I fell to my knees. "Elijah." He stood up shaky but alive.
He walked to me. He pulled me into his arms. He smelled of antiseptic and Elijah. I'm sorry. He wept into my hair. I'm so sorry I had to do this. I had to make you think I was dead. Why? I sobbed, holding his face, touching his skin to make sure he wasn't a ghost. Why? Because Vance said from the doorway, if they knew he was alive, they would have finished the job, and they would have killed you too. Elijah looked at me. His eyes were full of a terrible dark fire. They wanted the money, Lena, the insurance, the house, but they needed us both gone, or incapacitated. He held my hand. They were poisoning me to kill me, and they were poisoning you to make you look crazy. Me. The lost keys, Elijah said. The confusion, the episodes. Kira wasn't just gaslighting you with words. She was dosing you with scopolamine. It causes memory loss, suggestibility, hallucinations. I stared at him, the fog in my brain, the days I couldn't remember. They were going to put you in a home, Elijah said. Declare you incompetent, take power of attorney, and then let you rot. We staged the heart attack, Vance explained. We intercepted the ambulance call. My private security team got there first. We swapped the body, a John Doe from the city morgue. Dr. Thorne signed the paper because he thought it was Elijah. Marcus identified it because he wanted it to be Elijah. But now, Elijah said, his grip tightening, now we have them. We have the video. We have the toxicology reports. So we call the police? I asked. No, Elijah said. Not yet. He looked at Vance. We need to know where the money is going. Marcus mentioned a partner, someone else, someone bigger. And, Vance added, we need to catch them in the act of signing the papers, the power of attorney, the sale of the house. They're coming here today, I realized. Marcus said he was coming to handle the paperwork. Exactly. Vance smiled grimly. They're coming to claim the pension and the life insurance, $2 million. He looked at Elijah. You better get back in bed. You're supposed to be dead. Elijah kissed my forehead. Be strong, Lee. 1 more hour. Then we end them. I walked back into the main office. I sat in the chair. I wasn't a grieving widow anymore. I was the bait. The clock on the wall of Theodore Vance's office ticked. Tick, tick, tick. It was 10:45 a.m., 15 minutes before they arrived. I sat in the leather chair facing Vance's massive mahogany desk. I wasn't shaking anymore. The sight of Elijah alive, breathing, fighting had cauterized my grief. It had burned away the fear and left something harder in its place. Are you ready, Lena? Vance asked. He was arranging papers on his desk, a red folder, a blue folder, and a checkbook. I'm ready, I said. My voice sounded different to my own ears, deeper. Remember, Vance said, you have to let them talk. We need them to admit to the plan. We need them to sign the affidavit claiming Elijah died of natural causes, knowing full well they poisoned him. That's the perjury. That's the fraud. I looked at the bookshelf. Behind it in the hidden room, Elijah was watching on a monitor. I couldn't see him, but I could feel him. I won't fail him, I said. The intercom buzzed. Mr. Vance, Mr. Marcus Odom, and Mrs. Kira Odom are here. Vance looked at me. He nodded. Send them in. The door opened. Marcus walked in first. He was wearing a black suit, but he had a yellow tie on. A subtle sign of celebration, Kira followed. She was carrying a designer handbag that looked new. When they saw me, they paused. Mama, Marcus asked, his face twisting into a mask of confused concern. What are you doing here? You said you were napping. Mr. Vance sent a car, I said calmly. He said it was urgent. Kira's eyes darted around the room. She was assessing the threat level. Mr. Vance, she said, stepping forward with her fake smile. I'm Kira. This is my husband, Marcus. We're surprised you called Lena. As we told you yesterday, she's not really up to— Sit down, Vance said. It wasn't a request. It was a command. The voice of a man who controlled billions. Kira's mouth snapped shut. She sat. Marcus sat next to her. I called Mrs. Odom here. Vance began clasping his hands. "Because we are processing Elijah's death benefits. It is a significant amount, and company policy requires immediate disbursement to the surviving spouse." At the word amount, Marcus straightened up. "Of course," he said. "We're here to help Mama manage it. She's overwhelmed." "I can imagine," Vance said dryly. He opened the blue folder. "Elijah had a standard pension," Vance said. "But he also had a key man insurance policy with the firm, and a personal life insurance policy." And he slid a piece of paper across the desk. "The total payout is $2.5 million. The silence in the room was electric. I saw Marcus's Adam's apple bob. I saw Kira's hand tighten on her purse strap. $2.5 million. It was more than they had dreamed of. "Wow," Marcus exhaled. That's a lot. Dad really looked out for us." "For me?" I corrected him softly. "For the family, Mama," Marcus said quickly, patting my hand. His palm was sweaty. "Don't worry, we'll put it in a trust. Kira knows a great financial advisor. We'll make sure you're taken care of at Magnolia Gardens." "Magnolia Gardens," I repeated. "The nursing home." "Assisted living," Kira corrected. "It's very high-end, Lena. With this money, you could have the deluxe suite." Vance cleared his throat. "Before we can release the funds," he said, "there is a formality. The insurance company requires a sworn affidavit from the family regarding the circumstances of death, to rule out foul play." Marcus froze. "Foul play, Dad had a heart attack." "Standard procedure," Vance said, sliding a document toward them. "You just need to sign here confirming that to the best of your knowledge, Elijah Odom died of natural causes and had no prior history of suspicious illness." Marcus picked up the pen. He didn't hesitate. He signed. "There," he said. "Natural causes. He had high blood pressure. We all knew it." Vance looked at Kira. "And you, Mrs. Odom, you were close to him. Did you notice anything unusual in his final weeks?" Kira smiled. "No, he was happy, healthy, just old." She signed too. They had done it. They had put it in writing. Vance took the paper. He didn't file it. He just set it aside. "There is one more thing," Vance said. "The power of attorney." "Yes," Marcus said, pulling a document from his own jacket. "I have it right here. Mama just needs to sign. It transfers control of the estate to me due to her incapacity." "Incapacity?" Vance asked. "Dementia," Kira sighed sadly. "It's progressing fast. She forgets where she is. She forgets names. Yesterday she thought Elijah was still alive." "Did she?" Vance asked. He looked at me. "Mrs. Odom, do you feel incapacitated?" "No," I said. "I feel awake." "Mama," Marcus said, his voice taking on that dangerous warning edge. "Don't make a scene. Just sign the paper. We're trying to help you." "Help me?" I asked. "Like you helped Elijah." Marcus frowned. "What?" "You helped him die," I said. The room went dead silent. Marcus laughed nervously. "What are you talking about? He had a heart attack." "He had a heart attack," I said, my voice rising, "because you poisoned him." Kira stood up. "This is insane. She's having an episode. Mr. Vance, I'm sorry. We need to take her home." "Sit down, Mrs. Odom," Vance said. His voice was like a whip. "I'm not staying here to be accused by a senile old woman," Kira shouted. "You're staying," Vance said, "because the doors are locked." Kira looked at the door. The electronic lock had engaged. Red light. "What is this?" Marcus demanded, standing up. "I'm calling the police." "Please do," Vance said. "But before you do, you might want to say hello to the witness." Vance pressed a button on his desk. The bookshelf behind him clicked. It swung open. Marcus and Kira stared. Their mouths hung open. Slowly, painfully, a man walked out of the shadows. He was wearing a hospital gown and a robe. He was leaning on an IV stand. He looked pale, gaunt, like a ghost, but he was solid. "Hello, son," Elijah said. Marcus made a sound I had never heard a human make. It was a strangled, high-pitched yelp. He stumbled back, knocking over his chair. "Dad," he whispered. "No, no, I saw you. I identified you." You identified a body, Elijah said, his voice raspy but steady. You didn't look closely, did you, Marcus? You just wanted it to be over. You just wanted the money. Kira was backing away, her hands over her mouth.
He's dead. He's dead. This is a trick. A hologram. Touch me, Kira, Elijah said, stepping forward. Touch the man you killed. She screamed, a sharp, piercing shriek. I didn't kill you, she yelled. I didn't. You poured the digitalis in my coffee, Elijah said. Every morning, 3 drops. I tasted it, Kira. Towards the end, I knew. You're lying. I have it on video, Elijah said. He pointed to the large screen on the wall. Vance pressed a remote. The video played. The kitchen, Kira, the vial, the drops, the smile. Kira stared at the screen. The color drained from her face until she looked like wax. That's vitamins, she stammered. Liquid vitamins. We tested the dregs in the cup, Vance said. Digitalis, lethal dose. Marcus looked at Kira. You poisoned him, he whispered. He looked genuinely shocked. You said it was just to make him sick, to make him weak so he'd sign the papers. You didn't say you were going to kill him. Shut up, Kira hissed at him. Shut up, you idiot. Ah, Vance said. So you admit to the conspiracy to cause bodily harm. Marcus froze. He realized he had just confessed. He turned to me. Mama, he pleaded, his hands shaking. I didn't know, I swear. I just wanted the house. I have debts, bad debts, loan sharks. They're going to break my legs. I was desperate, but I didn't want him dead. You just wanted him gone, I said coldly. And you wanted me gone too. Magnolia Gardens, a warehouse for the unwanted. I was going to visit, he cried. You were going to rot in hell, Elijah said. Elijah walked over to the desk. He picked up the affidavit Marcus had just signed. You signed this, Elijah said, declaring I died of natural causes, when you knew, or suspected, it was poison. That's insurance fraud, Marcus. That's 20 years in prison. Marcus fell to his knees. Dad, please. Please. I'm your son. No, Elijah said. My son died a long time ago. The man on the floor is a thief. Elijah looked at Kira. And you, he said. You targeted us. You targeted Lena. I don't know what you're talking about, Kira said, trying to regain her composure. She smoothed her dress. This is entrapment. I'm leaving, and if you try to stop me, I'll sue you for kidnapping. You're not leaving, I said. I stood up. I walked over to her. Because we haven't talked about the scopolamine. Kira flinched. The what? The drug you gave me, I said. To make me confused, to make me forget my keys, to make me look crazy so you could take power of attorney. I reached into her purse. She tried to stop me, but I was faster. I grabbed her pill case. I opened it. Among the aspirins and breath mints, there were 3 small, unmarked white pills. Shall we test these? I asked. Kira snatched the case back. Those are mine for my anxiety. Then take one, Vance said. Right now. Kira stared at the pills. Her hand shook. She couldn't do it. She knew what they were. You monster, I whispered. You tried to steal my mind. I needed the money, Kira screamed, her face twisting into an ugly mask of rage. Do you know what it's like, watching you two sit on millions, hoarding it while we drown? You're old. You don't need it. You're going to die anyway. Why shouldn't we have it now? There it was, the truth, the naked, ugly entitlement. Elijah looked at her with pure pity. Because we earned it, he said. And you are just a parasite. Vance pressed the intercom button again. Send them up. The door opened. It wasn't the secretary. It was 2 uniformed officers and a detective in a suit. Marcus Odom, Kira Odom, the detective asked. No. Marcus scrambled backward on the floor. No police, Mama, tell them. Tell them it's a family dispute. I looked at him. The boy I raised, the man who wanted to lock me away. It's not a family dispute, officer, I said clearly. It's attempted murder. The police handcuffed Kira first. She was spitting and cursing. You old witch, you should have died. Then they handcuffed Marcus.
He was sobbing. "Dad, Dad, look at me. Help me." Elijah turned his back. He walked to the window and looked out at the city. He didn't turn around until the elevator doors closed. When they were gone, the room was silent. Vance poured a glass of water and handed it to Elijah. "Are you okay, Eli?" Elijah sat down heavily in the chair Marcus had vacated. He looked old, tired. "I just sent my son to prison," he whispered. "He sent himself," I said, putting my hand on his shoulder. "We just opened the door." Vance looked at us. "The fraud charges will stick," he said. "The poisoning, that's harder. Attempted murder is a high bar, but with the video and the pills, they're going away for a long time." "Good," I said. "Now," Vance said, "we have a problem." "What?" "Elijah is legally dead," Vance said. "We need to resurrect him. It's going to be a bureaucratic nightmare, and the press, and they will eat this up." "I don't care about the press," Elijah said. "I do," I said. I looked at them both. "We can't stay here, in this city, in that house. Everyone knows us. Everyone will know our son tried to kill us." "Where do we go?" Elijah asked. "Anywhere," I said. "Somewhere they can't find us. Somewhere warm." Vance smiled. "I might have a solution," he said. "The company has a villa in Tuscany. It's quiet, remote, and it needs a caretaker, someone to watch the garden." Elijah looked at me. "Tuscany?" he asked. "I've always wanted to see Italy," I said. "Then let's go," Elijah said. "Let's go be ghosts together." Tuscany in the spring is a painting come to life, rolling green hills, cypress trees, standing like sentinels, and air that smells of rosemary and earth. Our Villa Casa di Pace, House of Peace, was beautiful. It was old stone cool in the afternoons, with a terrace that overlooked a vineyard. But peace is harder to build than a house. It had been 3 months since we fled Seattle. Physically, Elijah was healing. The Mediterranean sun and the clean food were flushing the poison from his system. He walked every morning. He started gardening again, planting basil and tomatoes in the terracotta pots. But at night, the ghosts came. I would wake up to the sound of him screaming. "Don't drink it, don't drink it," he would shout in his sleep, thrashing against the sheets. I would hold him until the tremors stopped. "I'm here, Eli," I would whisper. "It's just coffee, just coffee." But I knew it wasn't. Every time I handed him a cup, I saw his hand hesitate, a microsecond of fear. Kira hadn't just poisoned his body, she had poisoned his trust. She had turned the most comforting ritual of our marriage morning coffee into a weapon. And me, I spent my days looking over my shoulder. The villa was secluded, gated. Vance had hired security, 2 local men, Marco and Luca, who looked like farmers but moved like soldiers. Yet every time a car drove down the dusty road, my heart hammered. I checked my phone constantly, though I had changed the number. I was waiting. You don't cut off a limb without feeling the phantom pain. And Marcus was a pain that throbbed with every heartbeat. One Tuesday afternoon, Vance called. We sat on the terrace, the phone on speaker. "How is the wine?" Vance asked. His voice sounded tinny, a world away. "Better than the water," Elijah joked. He sounded stronger. "I have news," Vance said. The tone shifted. "Not good." I gripped Elijah's hand. "Tell us." "Marcus made bail," Vance said. "Bail?" I exclaimed. "For attempted murder." The judge was lenient, first offense, and his lawyer, he argued that the evidence was circumstantial. The video showed Kira dosing the coffee, not Marcus. Marcus claims he didn't know. "He signed the affidavit," Elijah roared. He claims he signed it under duress, that he was grieving. It's a weak defense, but it got him out on house arrest. He's wearing an ankle monitor. And Kira? Kira is still inside. No bail. She turned on him, by the way. She's offering to testify that Marcus masterminded the whole thing. "Good," I said. "There's more." Vance hesitated. "Marcus. He's desperate. He's broke. We froze the assets, but he has debts we didn't know about. The gambling, it wasn't just casinos, Lena. It was private games, underground." "Loan sharks," Elijah whispered. Yes, the syndicate. They want their money, $150,000, and they know he doesn't have it. So they'll kill him, I said coldly. Karma. Maybe, Vance said. But Marcus, he's trying to buy himself time. Our intelligence says he's been talking, telling anyone who will listen that his parents aren't dead, that they are hiding in Europe, with millions. The air in Tuscany suddenly felt very cold. He told them, I whispered. He sold you out, Lena, to save his own skin. He told the loan sharks that if they find you, they can get the money from you. Vance paused. Marco and Luca, they are good. But if the syndicate sends professionals, you need to be careful. Don't leave the villa. We hung up. Elijah looked at the vineyard. His face was gray. He didn't just try to kill us for money, he said, his voice breaking. Now he's sending hitmen to do it for him. He's a coward, I said, standing up, a scared little boy. He's a monster, Elijah corrected. 2 days later, I was in the village market. I had insisted on going. I will not be a prisoner again, I told Elijah. Marco drove me. I was buying cheese from old Signora Rossi when I felt it. Eyes. I turned. Across the piazza, a man was sitting at a cafe table. He didn't look like a tourist. He wore a leather jacket despite the heat. He was smoking a cigarette, watching me. When our eyes met, he didn't look away. He smiled, a slow, lazy smile. He raised his coffee cup in a mock toast. I froze. Marco, I whispered. Marco was already there, stepping between me and the stranger. Signora, andiamo, Marco set his hand on his waist near his gun. We walked to the car. I looked back. The man was typing on his phone. We drove back to the villa in silence. Who was he? I asked. I don't know, Marco said. But he is not from here. He smells of city. He called Luca. They doubled the perimeter. That night, a package arrived. It was thrown over the gate. No return address. Just a brown box wrapped in duct tape. Luca scanned it for explosives. Nothing. He brought it to the kitchen. Open it, Elijah said. I cut the tape. Inside was a doll. An old porcelain doll. It was shattered. The head was broken off, and wrapped around the doll's neck was a red ribbon. Attached to the ribbon was a note. Your son sends his love and his debt, $200, $1,000, plus interest. You have 48 hours. I stared at the doll. It wasn't just any doll. It was my doll, from my childhood collection, the collection I kept in the attic in Seattle. Marcus had gone into the house. He had taken it. He had given it to them as proof that he knew where we were, proof that he hated us. Elijah picked up the note. His hand was steady this time. The shaking was gone. He sold us, Elijah said, like cattle. What do we do? I asked. Do we pay? If we pay, Elijah said, they will come back. They will bleed us dry, and then they will kill us anyway. So we run? No, Elijah said. I'm done running. I'm done dying. He looked at me. The old Elijah, the man who built a life from nothing, was back. They want a meeting, he said. Let's give them one. We called Vance. They found us, I said. I know, Vance said. My team intercepted a call. The man in the piazza, his name is Enzo. He's a collector for the Chicago outfit. He's not here to negotiate. He's here to collect or break knees. We have a plan, Elijah said. Elijah, no. Let the police. The Italian police will take weeks, Elijah argued. And Marcus? As long as Marcus is whispering in their ears, we are never safe. We need to end this, not just with Enzo, with Marcus. What do you need? Vance asked. I need you to get Marcus on the phone, I said. Record it. And I need $200,000 in cash, fake cash. Vance hesitated. This is dangerous. Living in fear is dangerous, I said. Send the package. The next day I called the number on the note. Hello? A voice, smooth, Italian accent. This is Lena Odom, I said. I have your money. Bene, the voice said. Tomorrow, midnight, the old winery on the hill. No, I said. Here, at the villa. My husband is sick. He cannot travel. A pause. If there are police? No police, just money. Come alone. I never come alone, Signora. Fine. Bring your friends. Just get this over with. I hung up. Elijah was cleaning his old hunting rifle. Marco and Luca were checking their sidearms. This isn't a movie, Lena, Elijah said softly. They will hurt us. They won't, I said, because we have leverage. Vance arranged the call. He patched us through to Marcus's ankle monitor phone. Hello, Marcus answered. He sounded drunk. Hello, Marcus, I said. Mom? He sounded surprised, then angry. Why are you calling? Did they find you? Yes, I said. They found us. Enzo is coming tonight. Good, Marcus said. Pay him. Pay him my debt, and maybe he won't hurt you. We're not going to pay him, Marcus. Elijah spoke up. Dad? Marcus gasped. You're there. I'm here, and I'm recording this. Marcus, I said. Listen to me. We are going to give Enzo something better than money. What? We're going to give him you. What are you talking about? We have the deed to your house. I lied. We didn't. He rented. We have access to your hidden crypto wallet. I lied again. Vance had found a small account. We are going to transfer everything we have to Enzo in exchange for one thing. What? Marcus's voice trembled. A contract, Elijah said. A contract on you. It was a bluff, a horrific dark bluff, but we had to play his game. You're crazy, Marcus screamed. You can't do that. I'm your son. And we are your parents, I shouted, tears streaming down my face. And you sold us to killers. You sent men to our door with a broken doll. You crossed the line, Marcus. Now we are crossing it too. No, Mom, don't. Tonight, I said. Midnight. We make the deal. Unless what? Unless you turn yourself in, Elijah said. Call the FBI. Confess. Confess to the poisoning. Confess to the hiring of the syndicate. Go into protective custody. It's the only place you'll be safe from Enzo or from us. You're bluffing, Marcus whispered. Try us, I said. Enzo will be here in 4 hours. You have 3. We hung up. It was the hardest thing I had ever done, threatening my own child. But he wasn't a child. He was a predator, and we had to be bigger predators. Midnight. The villa was dark. Headlights cut through the vineyard. 2 cars. They stopped at the gate. 4 men got out. Enzo was in the lead. They walked to the terrace. Elijah sat in his chair, a blanket over his legs. The rifle was under the blanket. I stood beside him. On the table was a briefcase. Inside was paper. Just paper. Enzo walked up. He smiled. Signora, signor. The money, he asked. In the bag, I said. Enzo gestured to one of his men. The man stepped forward, reached for the bag. My phone rang, loud, piercing. Enzo froze. His hand went to his jacket. Answer it, he said. I picked it up. Speakerphone. Mrs. Odom. It wasn't Marcus. It was Agent Miller from the FBI. We have him, Miller said. Marcus Odom just surrendered at the Seattle field office. He confessed to everything, including the contract with the syndicate. I looked at Enzo. His smile faded. He gave us names, Miller continued. His voice amplified in the quiet Tuscan night. Enzo Moretti, Luca Brasi. He gave us the flight numbers. He gave us the wire transfer codes. Miller paused. The Italian Carabinieri are 5 minutes out. I suggest you surrender. Enzo looked at me. He looked at the phone. You set me up, he hissed. No, I said. My son did. He ratted you out to save himself. It was the final twist of the knife. We used Marcus's cowardice against him. We knew he would crack. We knew he would run to the FBI to save himself from the hit we threatened. And in doing so, he exposed the syndicate. Sirens wailed in the distance, real sirens this time. Enzo looked at the gate. He looked at Elijah. Elijah pulled the blanket back. He leveled the rifle at Enzo's chest. Go, Elijah said. Run. Maybe you'll beat the police. Enzo spat on the ground. Your son, he said, is a rat. I know, Elijah said. The men ran. They jumped in their cars and sped away straight into the roadblock the carabinieri had set up at the bottom of the hill. We watched the lights flashing in the valley. Elijah lowered the rifle. His hands were shaking again. "He did it," Elijah whispered. "He actually confessed." "He was scared," I said. "He thought we were going to kill him." "We played his game," Elijah said. "And we won." "Did we?" I asked, looking at the empty darkness. "We sent our son to prison for life, and we are old, Elijah. We are so old." He took my hand. "We are alive, Lena, and we are free." 3 months later, the federal courthouse in Seattle. We didn't fly back for the trial. We watched it via a secure video link from a lawyer's office in Florence. The screen showed Marcus sitting at the defense table. He looked like a skeleton. His expensive suits were gone, replaced by a gray prison uniform. His hair, once perfectly styled, was shaved close to his skull. He had a split lip, a souvenir perhaps from his new neighbors. His lawyer was arguing for leniency. "My client was under duress," the lawyer claimed. "He was threatened by organized crime. He cooperated with the FBI." The prosecutor stood up. "He cooperated," she said, her voice sharp, "only after he tried to hire a hitman to murder his own parents. He cooperated because he was a coward, not because he was remorseful. He exposed his parents to the Chicago syndicate. He embezzled from his employer. He committed insurance fraud." The judge looked at Marcus. "Mr. Odom," the judge said, "do you have anything to say?" Marcus looked at the camera. He knew we were watching. His eyes were wet. "Mama, Dad," he whispered. "I'm sorry. I wanted to be like you, Dad, successful, rich, but I couldn't wait." Elijah, sitting beside me in Italy, reached out and touched the screen, not with anger, with sadness. "You never wanted to be like me, son," Elijah said to the silent room. "You wanted to be me. You wanted the harvest without plowing the field." The judge sentenced him. 20 years, 10 for the RICO predicate racketeering organized crime connection, 5 for fraud, 5 for conspiracy to commit murder. He would be 55 when he got out. His life was effectively over. And Kira. She took a plea deal. 5 years in minimum security for fraud and elder abuse. She lost her nursing license forever. Her children from a previous marriage whom she had barely mentioned were sent to live with their father. The power couple was destroyed. Life in Tuscany settled into a rhythm. Olive harvest, wine pressing, Sunday lunches with Marco and his family. But the letters started coming. From prison. ADX Florence, inmate number 89402. The first letter was angry. "You abandoned me. You have millions and you let me rot in here. You're terrible parents." I burned it. The second letter 6 months later was begging. "I need money for the commissary. I need protection. They know who I am. They know I ratted on the syndicate. Please, Mama." I showed it to Elijah. "Should we?" I asked. Elijah looked at the vineyard. "If we send money," he said, "we are telling him that his actions have a price we are willing to pay. We are enabling him again." He took the letter and tore it in half. He needs to learn to survive on his own, for the first time in his life. We didn't reply. The letters stopped for a year. Then one came. It was different. The handwriting was shaky. "Dear Mom and Dad, I work in the library now. It's quiet. I read a book yesterday, The Count of Monte Cristo. Dad used to read it to me. I realized something. The Count, he had everything, but he was empty. Until he let go of the hate. I don't want money. I don't want a lawyer. I just want you to know that today, for the first time, I didn't blame you. I blamed myself. It hurts, but it feels true. Marcus." I cried over that letter. It wasn't redemption. Not yet. But it was a start. I wrote back, just a postcard of the Tuscan hills. "We are safe. We are well. Keep reading. Mom and Dad." 2 years passed. Elijah's health was fully restored. He was 70 now, but he looked 50. He had a tan, strong hands from gardening and a smile that reached his eyes. But he was restless. "We have too much," he said one evening over dinner. "Too much what, money," he said. "The insurance payout, the savings, the recovered funds from Marcus's accounts. It's sitting there, growing." We earned it, I said. Yes, but what is it for? We can't leave it to Marcus. The government would take it for restitution anyway. He looked at me. I want to build something, Lena. Something that lasts longer than us. We flew back to the States. Not to Seattle, too many ghosts. We went to Charleston, South Carolina, Elijah's hometown. We found a neighborhood that had been decimated by economic downturns. Old houses, crumbling porches, good people struggling to hold on. Here, Elijah said, we started the Odom Foundation for Elder Justice. We didn't just build a building, we built a shield. We hired lawyers to defend seniors from predatory guardianships. We hired forensic accountants to track stolen pensions. We hired social workers to check on widows who had no one else. We used the money Marcus tried to steal to save people like me. One day I was in the foundation's office. A woman came in. She was my age, shaking. My daughter, she whispered. She says I'm losing my mind. She took my checkbook. I took her hand. You're not losing your mind, I told her. And she's not taking your checkbook, not on my watch. I looked at the team of sharp young lawyers behind me. Get her back her life, I ordered, 5 years later. I was in the garden of our Charleston home. A car pulled up, a taxi, a man got out. He was middle-aged, graying hair. He walked with a limp. He carried a cheap duffel bag. He stood at the gate looking at the house. I walked down the path. Can I help you? I asked. The man turned. It was Marcus. He had been released early on good behavior. Overcrowding. He looked weathered. The softness was gone. His hands were rough. He looked like a man who had seen the bottom of the well. Mom, he said. He didn't try to hug me. He didn't smile. Marcus, I said. I'm out, he said. I see. I'm heading to Florida. There's a halfway house there, a construction job. That's good. He hesitated. I wanted to see you were real. Sometimes in there, I thought I dreamed you. I'm real, I said. Is Dad? He's inside, working. Marcus nodded. He looked at the house. It's a nice house, he said. You built it. We built it. He shifted his weight. I didn't come for money, he said. Good, because I don't have any cash. I know. I read about the foundation. You gave it all away. He looked at me, and for the first time, I saw respect in his eyes. You saved a lot of people, Mom. I saved myself first, I said. He reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small wooden object. It was whittled, rough, a bird. I made this, he said. In the shop. Ideally it's a dove, but it looks more like a pigeon. He held it out. For the garden. I took it. It was heavy, solid. Thank you, Marcus. He nodded. He turned to go. Marcus, I called out. He stopped. The job in Florida, I said. Do you have boots? He looked at his sneakers. They were worn canvas. No. Wait here. I went inside. Elijah was in the study. He's here, I said. Elijah put down his pen. Marcus. Yes, he's leaving. He needs boots. Elijah stood up. He went to the closet. He took out his best work boots, the ones he wore when he built our first house. He handed them to me. Give him these, Elijah said. Tell him to walk straight. I went back out. I gave Marcus the boots. He took them. He pressed them to his chest. He didn't say anything. He couldn't. He just nodded, tears streaming down his face. He got back in the taxi. He drove away. I am 78 years old. Elijah is 80. We sit on the porch in Charleston watching the sun set over the water. The wooden bird sits on the railing. We don't have a fortune anymore. We gave it to the victims. But we have something better. We have the truth. We have a son who is out there somewhere working with his hands, learning to be a man at 50. And we have each other. Elijah takes my hand. His grip is still strong. You know, he says, I'm glad I died. I laugh. Why? Because, he smiles, kissing my knuckles. It was the only way to see how much I wanted to live. My name is Lena Odom. I was a victim, then a widow, then a ghost. Now I am the CEO of my own life, and business is good. If you are reading this and you feel like you are being erased, if you feel like you are disappearing into someone else's shadow, strike a match, light the fire, and watch the monsters run, because you are not fragile, you are the storm they never saw coming.